Welcome, everyone. I am Nicole. I am UpStack Social Media Manager, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the next session of our Leadership Assessment Series. Today's session is all about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And I know this is not only a super important topic for leaders to really understand and develop and to make sure that all of their employees, no matter what culture they're from or what ethnic background or anything like that, feels that they are in a fair, just an inclusive environment, but also it's an amazing feeling to make sure that all of your team is in that welcoming environment, no matter how big it scales. So at UpStack, we work with employees from a variety of different cultures and nationalities and backgrounds, and we really work extra hard to really bridge these cultural differences to make sure that everyone feels included in an environment that really fosters fairness. So today we have Maja from our talent team who is here to speak a little bit more on how leaders and other C-level people can create a more inclusive environment and also bridge these cultural differences in the workplace. Thank you so much, Maja, for joining us today.
And thank you, Nicole, for having me today. Hello, everybody. As Nicole mentioned, my name is Maja. I'm the lead talent manager here at UpStack, and I'm very, very happy to try and kind of present to you what do we do here at UpStack in order to foster an inclusive culture and work environment, as well as how to bridge any gaps when it comes to diversity. Hello again, and thank you very much for watching and listening. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So the topic's name is kind of a two-part one. I decided to put the two together because I feel that it strongly intertwines. The thing is, it unfortunately took the worldwide pandemic in order for a lot of companies to turn to remote first work environment. UpStack has been, it is, and it always will be remote first company. So when we're talking about inclusive work culture and diversity, UpStack sets an amazing example of how do we foster this inclusive work environment. And without further ado, let me kind of point out a few things that are very important when you want to create such an inclusive work environment and culture. So basically, in order for a company, for a team, for an environment to be very inclusive, the leaders and the whole team has to build the trust between the team members, between people they hire. They have to have strong collaboration between the teams. And obviously, everything starts from a very strong onboarding process. Now, as I mentioned, the companies turned to remote first work model, let's say. And it now opened the door for hiring managers, for recruiters, and for employers to expand their search for the next team members, kind of limitless. Now the whole world is the playground, and this means that they can find skilled professionals regardless of where they reside or where they come from, which now enables us to build and to foster a very diverse work environment. So with this comes also an opportunity to build an amazing work environment where people are set at their homes or their favorite cafes, or anywhere in the world, and work with a lot of people dispersed all over the world. Just an example, at UpStack, we have a community of developers, software engineers dispersed all over the world. At the same time, the core team is also dispersed. And we do foster an inclusive culture and work environment. So how it's done? It's built on trust, first of all. When we hire you, we trust you that you can do your job, no matter where you are, no matter where you come from, and no matter what your background is. So with that trust, we build up everything else, and we allow you to kind of grow together with UpStack. This being said, it triggers that every team member has to feel valued. And in order to accomplish this, there are a lot of different ways you can do it, but a lot of it comes to commending people for the work they do and constantly reminding them that they are valuable to your company and that you appreciate having them on board. Then people tend to look for a sense of belonging into a social group, into their work group, the team they're working with, etc. So the team that surrounds a new hire or the person that just came in, it actually has a little bit of responsibility of making the person feel like they belong there from day one, which means you need to include everybody into all the team activities, into the collaboration, and into the collaboration between different teams. So the person feels welcome, they feel they are contributing, and they feel like they're wanted in the team, right? Now, another very, very important aspect of building an inclusive culture and work environment is that everybody's voice needs to be heard. Not by poking about and asking, what do you think? Including that, of course, but it also entails some more subtle methods of doing this. You are presenting a topic, you are presenting a new idea or suggestion, and you want your team to have their say on it. You know, as a leader, you are the decision maker, but without your team's input, you might not come across as the great leader you think you are if you don't include your team members into this decision making. No matter how great you think your next suggestion or next idea is, you still need to hear what other people have to say about it. And this is also an inclusive work environment. I would say that on top of everything comes communication, which has to be transparent, honest, truthful, and you can never, never over communicate. As a leader, as somebody who is communicating, as a team member, doesn't matter. What you're saying to other people needs to be very clear. You need to maintain your professionalism at all the times, but you also need to come across as a kind, understanding person that listens to the people you're working with. And as I said, and I can never say this enough, you can never over communicate, because communication, great communication, is the key. Now, every single person in a team, in a company, in a social group, regardless of wherever, everybody has their own unique qualities. You are winning here if you put everybody's unique qualities together. This is where when a few people come together and collaborate and work on something, they are capable of making wonders only if you allow them to do so, right? If you nurture these unique qualities, if you foster, if you give them the freedom to be themselves and to express the way they would do something, and if you put that all together, it's an amazing recipe for success. Next on my list is collaboration, which I already touched upon. And with everything that I said comes support. If a person in the team feels supported, guided, and allowed to express themselves, to communicate, to suggest new ideas, to be included into creating new things, if the person feels supported, they will thrive. It's to me, it's a simple formula, and I would like to see this happening in every company. And all of this enables a person to grow. day in and day out. You start at some point, right? And you start working with new people, and you start working, maybe you shifted your career from one role to a completely different role, and you're learning. You are on your learning curve. If you have the support from your team leaders, from your team, from your higher management, you are necessarily growing. And after a while, you will be able to help somebody else grow. And if we all grow together, again, the end result is success. The main ingredient that holds together everything that I just talked about is the team. Nobody can go it alone. You can try. You can do a lot of it, but you can never really succeed without having a team around you. The team that supports you, the team that empowers you, and the team that is listening to your ideas, your suggestions, your ways of working. And I did mention this before, but only when you come together, you can make wonders. Now, with this being said, with people that work from all over the world, people that come from different backgrounds, different career paths, different educational systems, different cultural and heritage and traditions, it tends to, have some diversity in your team. And in order to be able to bridge all the differences, and in order to make this diversity play in your favor, there are a few things you can do. First thing first, you need to recognize and accept cultural differences. You need to embrace them because they are very, very worthy of having it, right? Then you also need to recognize and accept your individual differences. No person is alike. And that's what makes it so interesting. It makes it so fun, right? But as a professional, always check your behavior. Be respectful to everybody and be accepting that we are different. As I said, embrace the different cultural traits, because you never know how much fun you can have and how great things can come out from only these differences. Because when everybody puts in their input, when everybody gives their feedback, when everybody gives their suggestions, you create something really wonderful. When you speak to your people, to your team members, to your work colleagues, always treat them with respect, speak clearly, be truthful, and be very, very transparent. And it'll take you a long way. If you find yourself that you don't really understand what other person has said or what other person wanted you to do or to help with, ask for clarification. You will get one. Trust me, you will get it. And when you are asked to clarify what you meant, do offer one. Now, previously, I also mentioned that people want to feel involved. They need a sense of value and they need a sense of belonging. And this is me coming back again to that point where you have to involve everybody in the group. Not only in bringing new ideas, or not only saying, okay, guys, if you have something to suggest, you're welcome to. But everything that happens within the team, everything that happens in your work routine, every little tweak that you are thinking about doing, ask about everybody else's opinion in the group. See what other people have to say. Get them involved. Get them involved into changes, into implementing maybe better stuff, maybe not better, but let the experiment show that to you. But people like to be involved, and people really like to be asked to contribute to something. And the last point here is not everybody learns at the same pace, and not everybody learns in the same way. So, for example, if you brought on board a new team member and you are their mentor, you are their buddy, um, that person doesn't have to be anything like you in their learnings. And as a mentor, as somebody guiding the person, you need to accept it and you need to adapt yourself to their pace of learning. And I think these points that I just presented here are only the beginning of what else you can do in order to foster and to embrace the diversity and to have a lot of fun at work, at the same time to reap a lot of success.
We definitely have a lot of fun at work, so that is true.
Nicole, thanks. Nicole, if you maybe have some additional questions, I'm very happy to
Yeah, that sounds
to
great. Thank
answer
you so
anything.
much for that. That was a really excellent presentation. I really loved all the information, and I think towards the end, it made me think of some little activities that UpStack does that try to include everyone from the team, regardless of where we are in the world, and really show our individual sides and all those differences. So that made me think, what are some examples that you've seen in your past or like in other work environments of, let's say, like a company creating like different groups or like hosting different activities that really foster that sense of inclusion or embracing people's differences that you've seen?
There are many, many, many different activities that you can do, right? Be it in a form of team game playing or a team building, or for example, you can have an all hands meeting where you would invite everybody in the team or everybody in the company that's participating in the meeting to maybe share a photo of their current work setup. And then you will see people working from cafes. You will see people lying down on the beach with their headphones and laptop, kind of attending the meeting. You will see people working from home, and this everything contributes to letting other people know that it's fine it's fine to feel great while working. um, Another thing that comes to mind, however, it's more concerning people that still gather together in an office. Besides water cooler chats, you can organize a little meetings or little games or little. What we used to do at one company is start, stop, continue workshop, where you gather everybody in the company to give their ideas on stuff that we should stop
Oh,
doing or start doing or continue doing. And then together you summarize the results and you draw conclusions, and then you together set up a list of, say, 10 tasks that you will be focused on starting to implement in the nearest future, right? So if you ask me, I would not stick to specific examples of what somebody as a company or as a leader, as a manager can do, but rather to come up with different activities that they hear people talking about they would like to do. We used to play Dragons and
yeah,
Dungeons in the company, only a few of us, but this made
yeah.
other people want to play something of their own. And this also fosters this inclusive work environment. So the message that you want to put across is that it's okay to have a lot of fun working for as long as the work is done and for as long as you are respectful to your teammates, to your colleagues, and
Hmm.
for as long
Yeah,
as the
I love that. This
collaboration
was
is
really
visible.
helpful. I love that start, stop, continue suggestion. It was really cool. Um,
Yeah, it's a very useful workshop. It turned out to be very useful all the times that we did it, because you put um, so many different people together to ponder upon what's great about the company, what are the stuff that they would like to see, and what
mhm.
are the stuff
Yeah,
that are very redundant. And it
exactly.
gives you some
Wow, that
base
was
to
really
build
great. And
upon,
then
right?
another thing that made me think of is that necessarily different or similar to, let's say, if a leader wants to put more effort into celebrating people's diversity, like whether like racial or ethnically, how would a leader kind of encourage the team to do that on their own, or would you suggest like it requires effort on like creating official initiatives or campaigns in the hiring process or anything like that? Like, what is the scale that you've seen leaders kind of like take on that effort?
I would say that a leader should never stop learning about the team they're working with, about people they're bringing on board, and about the
Mhm.
whole ecosystem they're existing in, right? So, as a leader, what you can do is ask people about their traditions, ask people about their habits, ask them if your workspace or environment or culture differs in many ways than what they used to. If it does, ask them to provide you with the input, what they used to see in their workplace, what they used to have, what they liked the most, and if
Mhm.
they would like to see it incorporated. And then maybe in a team meet, you can start this as a team, or you can expand upon the whole company. Maybe you can implement stuff like celebrating different Independence Days, maybe even give people time off when their country is celebrating Independence Day. Or maybe if another tradition is very interesting, maybe you can implement it into something that you do on a monthly or weekly or I don't know, yearly basis. So the most important point here is that as a leader, you want to have as much information as possible. You want to talk to your people and you want to find out what drives them, what is making them happy, and what
Exactly.
is making them most
Speaking of
productive.
that continued learning that you just said, what are there any like books or courses or webinars that you've seen that can help managers become more culturally like aware or culturally sensitive that you've heard that have been successful in the past, or do you have any suggestions on that front?
You know, I am
Yeah.
confident there are many, many, many books or podcasts
Mhm.
or different learning sources.
Mhm.
Personally, even though I am a bookie and I do read a lot, uh, personally, I think that the best
Mhm.
learning source here are your colleagues. You know, um, if you read a lot of books that concern one topic, it's for sure gonna make you more knowledgeable about the topic than you used to be, or more knowledgeable about the topic than 99% of people you are talking to. But still, um, different books will tell you different stuff. And how do you consolidate? How do you pick and choose what's the best thing to do, or what's the best course to take? This is why I'm going to stand by my statement that the best resource for
Awesome.
learning
I
is
agree.
your people.
Thank you so much. That is all the questions I had today, but I'm sure that all of our watchers will find so much value out of this. Thank you again so much. And for everyone watching, this is on the UpStack YouTube channel, and we will continue this leadership assessment series. And again, thank you, Maya, so much for being here and presenting all of your great information. And we're so thankful to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Nicole, for having me. And I hope that whatever I presented today is going to be helpful, or that people will find some value or some inspiration from that. And yeah, I wish everybody a very
Thank
happy
you so
day.
much.
And
Bye.
again, thanks, Nicole, for having me.